Hey, good morning, everybody. Dave Evans, Dr. Greg Vecchi on SafeDefend Live. And last week we talked about the 3 types of assessments. Today we're going to tie that into pre-planning and what you need to do to set your team up for success in your workplace and your school. So, Doc, take it away.
How you doing, Dave? I'm
Doing good,
well.
Doc.
Yeah, this is exciting stuff. So I was we did a training yesterday. I did a training yesterday for one of our clients. Just bought our system, and of course, our level 1 training has to do with the response piece, right? The right of bang piece that we've been discussing, right? So we've got the SafeDefend system for the instant notification, but you still got to do things, right? You still have to protect yourself. We look at it typically. Or it's typically known as run, hide, and fight. That's what's out there, just like see something, say something on left of bang. But those definitions are okay. It's kind of a brand. It's kind of like, Kleenex and Xerox, right? We're using brand names and stuff to refer to like copy machines, right? And so I don't love those terms. I mean, I like them because everyone understands what they are, or what they kind of refer to, but I prefer a better terminology. And the terminology that I've been using has been escape, evade, and engage, right? In terms of run, hide, and fight. And so in the training, one of the things that we've noticed over time is there's a huge opportunity to increase the ability of a potential victim, right, of this type of violence to really protect themselves, beyond just having their situational awareness, which is what people teach, and then of course kind of the checklist in terms of what you need to do as far as your training, like find the room, close the door, lock the door, barricade the door with heavy furniture, etc. Right? And we have these checklists that are proven to be best practices and things like this. But the additional thing that you can do that many people don't realize is you can pre-stage your workspace. You can pre-stage your classroom. You can pre-stage any environment where you're very familiar with, that you spend a lot of time at, like at work or school. And what I mean by that is that, for example, if we talk about the barricading, that's evade or hide or whatever you want to call it. So in the barricading portion, there's a simple checklist, and these are best practices. This is nothing secret. The first thing you want to do is get behind a door that can be locked from the inside, right? That's really number 1. Number 2 is you place objects in front of the door to prevent entry in the event that the lock is overrun or broken, or maybe it doesn't work in this specific instant. Then you're going to cover the windows, and you're going to move away out of view to the safer corner, and turn off the lights, and then you're going to silence your cell phones, and you're going to be looking for cover and concealment, get behind that, and then basically wait, and then you might have to leave. There might be an opportunity to escape. If the offender comes in, you might have to switch your plan and fight and all this other stuff, right? And so this is what we train, and a lot of people train this, and like I said, it's nothing crazy or unusual. But what we have found out is that there's a huge opportunity to do some pre-planning and pre-staging in all of these areas, right? And so, for example, locking your door. Well, if you're in an environment, you work every day in an environment, whether it's a school or a workplace or university or wherever, where your best places are. And let's say you've got, I don't know, 6 or 7 potential rooms that could be barricaded, right, in a situation. Well, depending on where the door is located, depending on if it has windows or not, maybe it has 2 doors, you can prioritize like your best spot, and then your second best spot, and then your third best spot, that in the event you had to barricade or hide or evade, you go to the one that is the best. And if you don't have that one, then you change direction and go to the next best and to the next best. And so that can be like pre-staged and pre-planned. And then for each one of those priority locations, you put in there what you need. You make sure and you check to make sure that there is a deadbolt lock that can be locked from the inside and can't be opened from the outside, and have that preset. If you don't have heavy objects in the room, put some heavy objects in the room, but make them usable, such as a bookcase, a refrigerator, maybe. Something that's heavy, that's not too heavy, that a couple people could push in front of that door and have that close to the door and easy to push. If you have windows and you can't change the windows, um, already have them pre-covered. Put blinds on them. We always tell in the classrooms for the teachers, that's a good place to put the kids' art over, right? So it basically, you've got some concealment. And then if you're going to move away, which is the safest corner, the safer corner to be, because there really is no safe, 100% safe in a room. You're going to have safer areas, right? And so really, if you look at it, we look at it from the perspective of the offender, right? So if you put yourself in place of the offender and you go to a room and you open the door and walk into the room, what is going to be your immediate corners that you could easily hurt somebody from, like if you had a gun. And whatever one is the safest or the hardest one to see people is considered your safer corner. And so what you can do on that is just simply put a piece of tape across where you would cross over. And so you don't have to think about where the safer corner is, because when this is happening, people are going to experience their body alarm response. They're going to be all hyper and anxious and scared to death and things like this. And these type of things can really help keep people safe and keep you following the plan, essentially. And then if you want to find out well, where are the safest areas besides knowing where the corners are, well, there's a simple thing you can do is turn the lights off in the room, turn the lights on outside the room, like in the hallway. And then again, pretend you're the offender. Put yourself in the offender's perspective. Open that door. Look where the shadows are. Where the shadows are is where the safer place is, and compared to where the light is. And so again, all of this can be handled even as far as even turning off the lights. There are workplaces and schools where only the custodian can turn off a light. They have like a little tool or something. Make sure that you don't have that in there. You've got a regular light switch or some way that there's no issue turning the lights off. Silencing electronic devices, it's not putting them on silent, it's putting them on airplane mode. Because again, when you are practicing, it's less buttons to hit airplane mode than it is to open it up, look for, is it vibrate or is it silent, and which part, and my Wi-Fi and my Bluetooth and all the stuff that can beep and make noises. Just hit the airplane mode, right? And then things like that for evade. So that's some ideas on how you can preload yourself for success or pre-stage yourself for success. And the only other thing I'll probably add to that is that when we talk about run, hide, and fight, the reason I don't like that terminology so much is because it kind of seems linear, like we run and then we hide and then we fight. Well, you might hide and then fight, or fight and then run, or whatever, depending on what the situation is. And so if you add backup plans, where you might have to change your mind. So not only can you preload, let's say, a barricade situation, like I just described, but you can also prep that barricade for the fight. And what I mean by that is that when you are moving over to that safer corner, that safer area, and you're trying to be quiet, and God forbid the offender hears you or starts to open that door, now you're no longer in an evade mode, you're in a fight mode. Well, if you're already, again, pre-staged, everyone has a job. Someone's going to take the gun hand, someone's going to take the left arm, the right arm, the head, the groin, with their safety tools, or they're already pre-staged improvised weapons. Then again, they're way ahead of the game, because that offender is not going to be able to properly react to an ambush situation. So those are just some things that here at SafeDefend and kind of through my research and experience and stuff, I've been kind of adding to make this concept of run, hide, fight work even better beyond just the training and knowledge of it.
Well, I think the interesting part about this whole discussion is that is the whole purpose of the SafeDefend entire system with this, with the security boxes, right? Those tools are in that box. They give you the ability to do that. Our training shows you where the safer corner is in the room. We talk to you specifically about how to do that. And then we have drills with the schools when we give the training to show them what it looks like and grade them on their performance. I think the only way you get better in a situation like this is just like the old tornado drills when we were kids, or the old fire drills when we were kids, they don't do anymore, is you've got to drill to get better at this. You can't just, you got to stage it. You got to know where it is. And then you got to practice the plan in a 0G environment with no stress. So when you are stressed, it's a mechanical motor movement, motor skill. You're not having to think about it. You just do. And I think it's one of the benefits of what you're doing with the SafeDefend Academy and the training. I think it's one of the benefits of what SafeDefend's foundational values are as we help as many people as we can stay safe in this crazy world.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think about your background being a pilot. Okay, when don't you use a checklist or have things pre-staged?
Never. And
right.
Checklists are to the point where you've memorized them over years of flying, but you're still using them even though you know what the next step is.
Yeah, and even when you look at like a flight attendant, same thing, right?
Well, I don't look at flight attendant stock. My wife would get mad at me. No, every profession, doctors are the same way. Every profession has a format and a standard of execution, no matter what they do. They have checklists, they have follow-ups, so they don't make mistakes. When we're talking about targeted violence events, we're talking about life and death situations. And we as families and teachers need to embed that in our children and in our teachers, that we're here to help, and let's get you the tools you need and the training you need to be successful if the unthinkable happens. I mean, we've seen many instances where the unthinkable has happened and nobody knows what to do. Police run the wrong way because they haven't trained as a entity, school, law enforcement, everything to go, this is the plan. This is what to expect when we come in. This is what you should do. This is what we're going to do. So everybody's comfortable with what's going on. And I think that's a big hole in the current system in the current systems that are out there besides SafeDefend.
Yeah, well, it does. The planning is so important because essentially you got a plan and you got to train the plan and then you got to drill the plan.
That's fact. 100% true. Yeah. I mean, that's some great stuff, Doc. So you got big plans for the weekend?
Just relaxing. I got family coming in, and it's gonna be pretty fun. But I'll be happy to get back to work sooner than later, I'm sure.
Well, you got 1 week of work, and then it's gonna be like a 4-day week for the 4th of July. So I will see you next Friday, Doc. Yeah. And with that, Doc and we are out of here.
Sounds good. Have a great weekend.